Crap, I've been muted all this time. Dadgummit, I'm gonna have to start all over. All right. Seven Little Johnstons. Uh, Trent says they had a fish fry for what's his name? Bryce's birthday. Bryce is the son-in-law. And Trent says it's nice to get together with everyone that wants to be here. I'm translating that as I'm glad Anna's not here so I can act normal and not like an asshat. They're just so angry with her all the time. It's like, get over it. It's been like a year and they're still not talking to her. Anna went to visit Nana, which is Trent's mom, who lost her husband last year. And it really made me tear up because Anna, the family lost Nana this year, um, just a couple months ago, I believe. And they were getting along so well, and she's so sweet to Anna. And she really seemed to be having a good time. Both of them were having a really good time. They made jewelry, of course, because that's Anna's thing. I don't know what Jonah said because I didn't write it down. Um, but Jonah is bigger idiot than Trent. That's all I wrote down. I gotta write better notes, I guess, especially when it's been a whole day. Um, Ashley is Jonah's girlfriend. She's mid 20s. It's kindergarten teacher, and she deserves so much better than Jonah. He hasn't even moved out of the house. He's got a job, like a real job. Um, I'm betting he's not getting any money from the show because we know that that's how these TLC parents work. Uh, so her and Emma went shopping, and they bought Emma a really cute little black cocktail dress. Really, really cute. She called it a man catcher dress. Ashley called it a man catcher dress. I think Ashley should borrow the man catcher dress and go catch herself a different man. Uh, so Trent is having to do vertigo exercises because he gets dizzy a lot. It has to do with his white brain disease thing that's going on due to his apnea. And I just think Amber's take on the vertigo exercises seems a little off. She's trying to tell him that he has to do that until the vertigo goes away completely. Well, yeah, Amber, but not all at one time. He says, no, it's 3 times, which makes sense. You do it 3 times a day, and it should, over time, make the vertigo go away. But she's acting like he's got to make the vertigo go away every day. You could be there all day and never have that happen. So I don't know what she's up. These people takes on medical stuff is totally weird. Another case in point, Liz said that Liz is the second biological daughter, but the third in age. Um, Said that her daughter Layton uh, got teeth early, so she's going to walk early. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Teeth have nothing to do with walking. My little sister was born with teeth. We all walked at the same time. Oh, the ideas of this family are insane. And I swear this episode ended with Alex and Emma texting Anna to go for a dinner invite. And I swear the last episode ended with the same exact scenes. So what's up with that? What is up with that? So I guess maybe next episode they won't end with the texting of Anna. Like it was the same exact stuff. I mean, I know my memory's not that good, but I don't remember things that didn't happen, usually. Oh, and Alex complained that Anna didn't go to their graduation. They went to hers, but she didn't go to theirs. Well, these issues were not prevalent. I mean, they were having issues at the time, but those issues were not between Alex and his parents. They were between Anna and his parents. And there's still issues between Anna and his parents. So she opted out. She said she didn't want any drama. So she went and didn't go to their graduation. It's an invite, not a summons. And was she even invited? Did the parents even bother her with it? Probably not. Probably not. Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, now we're going on to Balin Out Loud, which I found out I was like 3 episodes behind. So I've caught up now. Oh, I can't do anything with me. So, so Colin and Balin were having a conversation in the car, and he does seem to have some reservations about her family and their meddling, which is good. Which is good that he recognizes that they need boundaries. He was asking her if she would want her parents to come over every day, and she's like, "Yes." It's like, oh, that's not good. That's not healthy. Um, and they did go to the premarital counseling, which I'm okay with. I just wish it had been their own idea. And they are bringing up some stuff, so that's good. And I only half watched this, so um, the parents did offer the backyard to for her wedding, which is it's fine. I got married in my grandma's backyard, which is not my dad's front yard, and um, it was lovely. It was fine. Her dad built her a ridiculous llama bench, and I could not find a picture of it. I will try tomorrow to get a screenshot to show you because it's hysterical and I love it. It is great. It is the best llama bench I've ever seen. Of course, I've never seen a llama bench before, so of course it's the best one I've ever seen. He literally carved a bench that looks like llamas. It's great. He really does care about her. He really does care about her. He just cares a little too much sometimes. Um, yeah, he's way too involved and aggressive when it comes to Colin, and he needs to back off. Um, Colin strikes me as a smart and capable person. He doesn't need her dad in his face all the time. He's he's got this. He's got this. Oh, I have my reminder to go to episode 3 and find that llama thing, which I did not do this morning. Balin has this little friend. He also has Tourette syndrome. He's 12 and he's in college. He's Sheldon. Yeah, poor kid. Um, he was ticking on the bus and got beat up on his summer camp bus. Can we stop this, please? Can you teach your kids to not do this? Why are people doing this still? It's 2025 and kids are still beating up other kids for stupid reasons, and I'm tired of it. Okay, and then Balin's little brother Beckner, who's 11, she did get him together with Joe, and they had a good time. Um, so Beckner's showing signs of OCD, and she's worried about how to bring it up to her parents. She worries that about how they feel about getting him help. Like, what the heck? If one of my kids noticed that another kid was having really bad issues, I would be getting them help right away. I don't When my daughter said, "Hey, I feel depressed," we went straight to a psychiatrist and a psychologist, etc., etc. When my son had issues, we put him in therapy and got a psychiatrist. Um, she was a little more, what do you call it, compliant with it. um, and the mother did later, like in the previews for the next episodes, like, oh, she thinks everything, she's diagnosing everybody with everything because she thinks blah, 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 blah. No, your kid, like, he talked about it. He has to have his room perfect. If he comes back into the room and it's not perfect, he has to fix it. He can't leave until it's perfect. Like, he has to line things up so that his books have to be perfect. She has this little stepper thing. He had to line it up so that it was perfect. Like, that is not normal, and that is something to be concerned about because that's not normal behavior for an 11-year-old, especially 11-year-old boy, especially. Um, yeah, that's not good. That's not good for the kid. He needs And the faster you nip it in the bud, perhaps he doesn't need, perhaps he can get coping skills so that he doesn't have to be on antidepressants. I don't know what they use for OCD. And he did say he had a lot of anxiety too. So he may not need to be on anxiety meds the rest of his life the earlier you get that started because you can get coping skills. So I don't know about those parents either. They seem a lot better than a lot of the um, TLC families, but they still have their issues for sure. Okay. So I guess we'll start with this, even though I screwed up the first 15 minutes of the stupid stream. Sorry. I am not perfect. I put it on mute. My bad. My bad. I can't do it. I can't take me anywhere. That's what I always say. Oh. So our first read is from malicious compliance. Supervisor said, don't just type BRB. So I told the whole team I had to poop. We love our poop jokes, don't we? Oh, so this recently happened in my call center type job. My brand new supervisor promoted for all the wrong reasons, wasn't exactly qualified. It's always the ones that shouldn't be promoted that are. It's like weaponized incompetence or something. I don't know. Stop. Can we stop doing that too? That would be cool. I could write a whole post on that, but the gist is she only got promoted because she was friends with the boss and is always giving him advice on the women he dates. It's kind of gross. Anyway, we had a Teams chat where we kept each other updated and asked for help with things. Normal procedure was simple. If you step away, we would typically just type BRB so everyone knew you weren't available for calls. Did this for years with no issues. Well, the new supervisor decides that's not good enough. Of course she did, because she hasn't been around long enough. She needs to assert control and dominance. She announced to us one-on-one combos in one in okay. She announced to us in one-on-one combos that we all had to start giving specific reasons for why we were stepping away. I told her I wasn't really comfortable announcing to the entire team every time I had to use the bathroom. She basically just shrugged and said, it's the rule. We need transparency so I know what everyone's doing. Sounds like you're a busybody. Okay, we've had no issues for years, but whatever she says goes. The very next time nature called, instead of a boring BRB, I typed BRB, going to poop in the bathroom. Ah, good for you. Good idea. She immediately PM'd me in Teams and said that was not professional. I reminded her. She told us to be specific and I was just following directions. After that, others started joining in. Some favorites were BRB, gonna stand in front of a urinal and do an impression of a water fountain. BRB, going to blow my nose and try to dislodge this giant booger. She wanted specifics. She got specifics. Within a week, the supervisor told us we didn't need to be so specific when stepping away from our desk. Like, yeah, we know. Oh, BRB, poop all done now. Pictures at 11. Oh, OP says, dang, I should have added the pictures part. She liked that one. Or he, I'm not sure. They like that one. Um, Outrageous ad says, reminds me of when my husband was younger. He and his friends would send their post potty pics to each other just for giggles. I never understood it, but they sure enjoyed the fun. Yeah, I don't get taking a picture of your poop and sending it to people. Let's not normalize that. Let's not do that. That's disgusting. I don't do well with bodily fluids in general. I keep them away from me. They're gross. This is why I could never be a nurse or a caregiver of any kind. I can barely change a baby's diaper. Sometimes I start gagging. And my husband says, I'll just do it. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll get over it in a minute. Calm down. So just no mill. I got out. Ooh, it's flared success. Guys, while I enjoy the community and hearing everyone's stories, I can leave. I kicked this man out of my apartment and never have to interact with his mother again. His grandmother made the move out process hell, of course, demanding she needed pieces of furniture because they were so special to her. and personal, even though she had no room in her home for them. I saw them on Facebook Marketplace the next day. Should have bought them. But this is the end. X is stalking me now, but that's a different story for a different subreddit. Haha, thank you. That's nice. Oh, this actually has a bot mod, and it says her other posts were entitled "Crying Over Boundaries," "Why is this petty crap somehow most frustrating?" "Mad on SO's behalf," "Financial overstep, deleted Facebook because of this," comments about weight. Well, that's nice. Good for you, OP. Kick him to the curb. That's what you did. Kicked him to the curb. So the next one we have is from Entitled People, entitled "Karen Stole the Wrong Seat." Uh-oh. "My son and I are flying out." Oh, of course it's an airplane. Of course it's an airplane. It was either an airplane or a movie or something like that. "I booked the aisle and window in case the flight wasn't full." Good. "If it was full, we would let the middle person choose aisle or window. We get to our row and there's someone in the window. We check our seats. She looks away, pretending she doesn't see or hear us. It's fine for us since we are going to take the middle seat anyways. Then this guy comes and says he has the middle seat in our row. I explain we have the aisle and the window, but this woman sat down first. Turns out she had the middle seat on the other side. Now she's squished between two large dudes. She didn't even steal the correct side." Oh, and the top rated undeleted um, reply is from Topeka, AKS. "My husband and I were flying home after vacation. A lady was sitting in our seat. When I showed her the ticket, she told us that she couldn't sit on her own in her own seat because another guy took it and told her to sit somewhere else. I told her again to move. When my husband and I finally sat in our seats, the guy was complaining in our mother's language about the audacity of some people who insist on sitting in their seats. You got to be kidding me. I told my husband, also in our language, that I don't give an F what this guy is saying because no one in his right mind would expect half the plane to move because he feels so entitled to occupy any seat on the plane. At that, he should have chosen his seat in advance like every other person on the flight. The seat choice was for free during check in. This guy shut up and apologized to the woman after the flight, although I'm not sure she got her seat back." Yeah, the earlier you sign in, the more likely you are to be sat together. There are people who pay for extra to pick their seats. They are entitled to their seat. Um, and even then, you should sit in your own dang seat. Don't be taking other people's seats, especially on a plane or in a movie or at the theater or really anywhere there's assigned seats. Don't sit at somebody else's table at a wedding. Almost got a fight over that one. Ancient Mariner says, "My son, daughter, and I booked a flight and asked to sit together. Son was assigned the window seat, daughter in the middle, me on the aisle. I'm not sure if the ticket agent made a mistake or if we were just not paying attention, but it turned out while they were sitting next to each other, my seat assignment was on the aisle, all right, but on the other side, a couple of rows back. As the plane filled up, the seat next to my daughter remained vacant, so I asked the flight attendant if I could move to that seat. She told me no because whoever was assigned to that seat might be a late boarder. Okay, I understood and resigned myself to that. Boarding finished, the plane taxied out to the runway, took off, the seat was still vacant. After we were in the air and the pilot turned off the seatbelt light, I called the same flight attendant and pointing out the empty seat next to my daughter, I said, I don't think they're going to make the flight. The attendant just laughed a little and told me it was okay to change seats now. And I could outrun the Joker. Answered, "This is the way," and put a little arrow up. Yeah. Just me down south. During my years as a flight attendant, seat issues could get crazy. Bob and Sue board, and someone is in their seats. They take some empty seats nearby. Lola and Ralph show up. They are booked in the seats Bob and Sue just plop down in. So Lola and Ralph take empty seats a few rows back, and on and on. It can be a nightmare to fix. One of my favorite stories is the time a businessman number one, mean guy, sat down. Then businessman number two, nice guy, boarded. Number one was in number two seat. Number one, mean guy, refused to move. Number two, nice guy, stowed his bag and said, I'll just hang out in the galley with you until it's sorted out. What a guy. Ultimately, we were able to seat nice guy two in first class. We walked up the aisle. I said very nicely to nice guy two, grab your bag. We appreciate your patience, so we were moving you to first class. That's how you do it. Flight attendants, take note. If there's something, and also anyone in hospitality, if there's something wrong with like a hotel room, you should upgrade people, not downgrade them. I've had that happen to me too. Didn't really complain about it, but it was not cool because I had a really good view in that first room and a really crappy shower. All right, the next one is from Mother in Laws from Hell. I told my boyfriend to sell our home and go live with his mother. Okay. My boyfriend, 46 of 20 years. Why are you dating someone for 20 years? My boyfriend, 46 of 20 years, moved his mother into our home temporarily and promised she was going to get a job and move out, but it's been more than 2 years and now she isn't trying to do any of the things she said. Plus, it turns out she has Social Security, has no valid ID here in the US. Sorry. Plus, it turns out she has a Social Security number but has no valid ID here in the US. I'm not sure how she got here, but I do know that she tried to get an SSB and they told her to straighten out her citizenship and she would get her benefits. Anyways, his mother is an emotional abuser and toxic. She disrespects me in our home, tries to take over my kitchen, and my boyfriend has let her take over my children's room. On weekends, our boys are sleeping in our living room, and they have school. And when they have school, my 12-year-old and 9-year-old share a twin bed, while his mother has made the full-size bed a storage on one side and basically turned into a twin. He allows her to call me names and belittle me and does nothing to defend me. What are you still doing there, girl? This is like red sheet, red comforter, red house. Is the house red? Because it should be. For almost a year, he has promised to get her a place outside our home, but what never comes to light. He says he's told her he can get her a place, but he can't afford it, maybe a month or two. Then she's on her own. She's been here long enough, and she definitely doesn't care if we break up. So this weekend, I told him to sell the house because I know I could never forget what she has said and done to me in the last 2 years, and he allowed it. So I cut my losses and go get a home for me and our kids without him and his toxic mother. I deserve better. My kids deserve better. We own the house together and we aren't married. Well, that's a mistake. Uh, yeah, yeah. You should be selling the house and getting something else. Your kids are in a twin bed together at what were they? 12 and 9 in a twin bed? 12-year-olds are bigger than me because I'm short. All the nieces and nephews thought it was a big deal when they were taller than Aunt Nike, and it's not. It's like congratulations, you're taller than the shortest person you know. Some of them are 6'5" now. Most of them are above 6 foot. Even one of the girls, very tall. My husband's family is very tall. Even on my side, I think I might have a niece or two on my side that's not taller than me though. But yeah, wow. She says she has a social security number, no valid ID, which is kind of strange. Maybe she just doesn't have a driver's license. You can get an ID. So I guess straighten out her citizenship. My guess would be she came on a visa and overstayed like most people that are here illegally do. All right. Here's traumatize them back. A stranger put her hand on my pregnant wife's belly. Please stop. Please don't do that. I know the bellies are cute when they're little basketballs in there. Don't touch other people without permission. This is a flared clever comeback. I just discovered the subreddit and had to share. I remember when my wife was pregnant with our first kid. We were at the grocery store when this random woman in the produce swoops in like she's Gandalf blessing Frodo's journey. She put her hand on right on my wife's belly, doesn't even ask, and goes, "Oh, when are you due?" Without missing a beat, my wife says, "I'm not. I'm just fat. Thanks for that." For context, my wife is 5'10" tall. This lady's face went white immediately. She froze. She didn't apologize. She didn't say another word. She just shuffled away, clutching her cantaloupe like it was a security blanket. Meanwhile, I'm over there by the bananas laughing like an idiot because honestly, if you're bold enough to grab a stranger's stomach, you deserve to walk out of that store questioning every life choice you ever made. True. Oh, I'm not. I'm just fat. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. That's really good. I hope you have a beautiful baby. So it's first kid, so obviously they have more than one now. um, so this is from Neighbors from Hell. Neighbors keep trespassing. Today they hired laborers to remove large retaining boulders on my property that prevent erosion. Ooh, that is not cool. It says flared WWYD vent rant. Location Massachusetts. The neighbor behind our home moved in about 2 years ago. There's a large drainage ditch close to the border of our properties that is on their side. Our probably line. Our property line begins at the top of the drainage ditch where there are about a dozen or more boulders that have been there for decades. Their house is part of a development, HOA, who is responsible for the general maintenance of the ditch. I have caught them on our side numerous times. One occasion she was moving brush that was on our side because apparently they didn't like the way it looked. You cannot go on somebody else's property and take out things because you don't like the way they look. We spoke to her and told her she couldn't do that, and she acted as if we didn't know the boundaries. So we made it clear where the lines were and let it go. Since then, we have caught her walking on our side of the property multiple times. Not sure why on those occasions, to be honest, as we have privacy trees and could only see that she was on our side, not specifically what she was doing. Today, she hired laborers to remove and essentially steal, for what purpose is unknown to me, multiple massive boulders from my side of the property line. Rocks are expensive, people. Don't be stealing them from other people. These boulders act as a retaining wall for the ditch and are here to prevent erosion. She was confronted and said, "Oh, I didn't realize that. She got permission from the town." No, she didn't. I both strongly believe to be lies. Both I strongly to believe to be lies. She said she would put the boulders back. What are my options here? She clearly has no respect for the boundary lines, and speaking to her hasn't worked. Can I have her trespassed even though it was her hired workers who technically were on my property and removed the boulders? I also don't have proof of prior incidents as I never filled out a police report. I was hoping to give her the benefit of the doubt and keep things amicable. Should I just let her put the boulders back and let it go? I hope she respects the boundaries in the future. Should I contact her development since they're the ones who maintain the ditch and tell them? Advice on my best options. Thanks all. Well, just because you don't have other proof from the police doesn't mean she didn't steal off your property. That there alone is a police report, and you know who did it, so they know who to go against. And you should figure out how much those boulders cost and charge her for it if she doesn't put them back. I would give her a chance to put them back. Maybe she's just dumb. Update. Hey, just a quick update for those interested. The morning after this post, she and her laborers returned several of the boulders where they were, sloppy I might add, but there seem to be others that are still missing. I've gone to the police and they refuse to issue any sort of trespass. They told me that unless I saw her actively on my property stealing, it was a he said, she said. Although she would have the boulders, wouldn't she? They also said because it was laborers and not her, she isn't the one that would be blamed. So go after the laborers. Go after them. See what happens. They said that unless it can be proven it was in fact on my property, they couldn't do anything. They're just lazy. They told me this. They're just being lazy. Please do your jobs. Please. Ultimately, they told me it was a civil matter, not a police matter. No, theft is a police matter. Also called the town's conservation commission. I believe someone did go and inspect the ditch wetland, although I've not heard back from them yet. And probably won't. I put in a call to a surveyor to establish the boundaries more clearly, and once that's done, I will be putting up signs and possibly cameras and fencing. At that point, I will also have a better standing to pursue further action against her and the landscaping company. Thanks for all the advice you have given. I will not be letting this go. I will pursue it as much as I can legally. Vanessa Alexa says, file a report and tell her you are going to sue for the cost of the boulders and the cost of replacing your retaining wall. Maybe she'll be able to get them back, maybe not, but she stole your property, and depending on how big the boulders are, what they are made of, they could be worth thousands. Exactly. Love Norwich? Oh, love Norwich. It's a town. Geez, in California, given the cost of boulders to transport them in the place, this would be grand theft. Muck says grand heft. Grand heft. Ajax Odyssey says, granite theft. Humphrey Bogart says, Nice one, as in Gnieiss. Nice one. It's funny. I love Reddit commenters. They're so funny. They're so funny. This is from AITA for cheating on an eating competition. Probably because you shouldn't be cheating on an eating competition. What kind of adult are you? So our local restaurant has a really good wings and was hosting a hot pepper eating competition recently, with a bunch of coupons for free wings on the line. I have a weird genetic quirk where my body doesn't register capsaicin normally, so my spice tolerance levels are way higher than normal. No, this is like you didn't cheat. You didn't cheat. Um, any more than oh, what's his name? The swimmer, the big time swimmer with all the medals. He didn't cheat either. He just had a genetic abnormality that made him a better swimmer. Dang, I can't remember his name. I hate that. I'm so bad at names. So I entered the competition and won the coupons, but my friends are now telling me that I cheated and should have let normal people compete and get the wings. So Reddit, AITA for competing. The wings are so good though. Edit, thanks guys. I guess the consensus is chicken wings. God's blessed me and my friends are just jelly. Now I have to embark on the holy pilgrimage to all hot pepper contests in the Fire Nation to conquer them all. Wish me luck. Edit 2. Since people ask, no, it doesn't hurt through the whole body or on the way out. Wow, that's wild. That is pretty wild. Michael Phelps. I knew. Destros said, congrats. You are the Michael Phelps of chicken wings. If he wasn't cheating by having a genetic advantage when it comes to swimming, you aren't cheated by having a genetic advantage when it comes to spicy food. Yeah. People who play basketball have a genetic advantage of being tall. People who race horses have a genetic advantage of being small. Genetic advantages galore. OP answered chicken wing superpower. Yay. And then it just goes on to talk about his tolerance is the full body. That's pretty neat superpower. I can't eat anything spicy. I have the opposite superpower. It's all too hot. I am getting better as I get older, but it's hot. Never liked spicy foods that much. I don't even like green peppers on pizza. I don't mind like an essence of it, but if they're like if I take a bite and it's a lot of green pepper, it's like ugh, no. If they're cooked more, they're fine. But that wasn't even the case a long time ago. I had to get used to that. Our next read is from r/confession. When I was 16, I robbed several bank ATMs and was somehow never caught. I'm in my 50s now, so I'm probably not going to be arrested for this, but I still don't know how this never caught up with me. In the early 80s, ATMs had a feature called Deposit with Cashback. It was a check cashing feature, but for some reason it ran on the honor system. Of course, this feature went away eventually, but I figured out that if I just put an empty envelope into the ATM and didn't seal it, I could claim the bank lost it. So the ATM would cash the check, then a week later, the bank was like, that envelope was empty. For whatever reason, Bay Bank let me get away with that. Back in the early 80s, when the banks were starting to use ATMs, you could be shorted a 20 or given an extra 20 at random because the little things they use to throw out the to throw out the money um were not very good in the beginning. They're much, much, much better now. I don't even count my money anymore because I just assume it's correct. That summer, my family stayed in a cottage in Hyannis for 2 weeks. During that time, I opened a savings account at 5 different banks using the rented house address. They emailed me, or sorry, they mailed me ATM cards within a few days. I deposited with cash back on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and early Monday. Back then, the limit was $400. That's a big limit. I remember the limit being like 200. They were going to check the ATMs by Monday so the scam would be over. I scored $10,000, 10,000 in 1984 dollars. That's a lot of money. Let's find out how much money that is. What do we call that? Cost of living. No, it's not cost of living. Inflation. There it is. Inflation calculator. Bureau of Labor Statistics has a nice inflation calculator right on their site. So he said 10,000. Yeah, he said 10,000. So 10,000. Oops, not peas. We'll call it August because he said it was summer of 1984. Right. And then, yep, 1984. Okay. Good, good. To now, September of 2025, $31,881.34. That's how much he stole in today's dollars. That's a lot of money. $30,000. Hooey. For a kid? Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't understand. Okay, I was never questioned or arrested. I don't understand why or how. The only thing that happens was the FDIC had me on a list of people who banks shouldn't do business with. I didn't even find out about it until I was 21, 5 years after the crime. I was in college and trying to open a bank account, and no bank would let me. So there were consequences. 40 years later, I have a bank account and nothing ever happened. It's the only time in my life that I had good luck. Of course, I blew the money. Back then, it was enough to put down on a house or easily bought a car. I spent on girls' weed and beer. It was fun, but I wish I was smarter. Put that in the stock market. Do you know how much money you'd have now? You'd be sitting easy for retirement. The mad bug. It's hard to be dumb and lucky enough to commit crimes, but smart enough to spend the money wisely. I remember a story of someone who worked making poker machines, put in an exploit, won a stupid amount of money, and then used that money to gamble on poker machines that hadn't rigged and lost it all and then got caught. Your outcome of having fun with the money, but not ending up completely destroyed with it, is one of the better outcomes. Yeah, for sure. Texas, USA. I was leaving Vegas in a taxi at the airport. I asked the driver if he gambled. He told me he won 60K on a slot machine. I asked him what he did with the money. He told me he spent it the next 6 months giving it back to the casino. Hi, people. Buy something good with it. At least buy a couch. At least buy a couch with it. Everybody needs a new couch all the time. Even if you just bought a couch, you might want a new couch. This one is from Am I the Jerk? AITJ for refusing to go to my cousin's child free wedding with my kids. No, no, it's an invite, not a summons, remember? We say this all the time. My cousin, 30 female, is having a wedding next month and made it very clear that it's a child free event. Okay. I, 32 female, have two kids, 3 and 5. I told her I wouldn't be able to attend unless they could come since I can't find childcare that weekend. She told me it's her choice and I should respect it. Okay. I told her I'm not mad, but I simply won't be able to come. Now my aunt and uncle are saying I'm being unsupportive and selfish for not attending. I'm honestly confused as am I wrong for not going if I can't bring my kids? No. I've had relatives have child-free weddings and we couldn't go because short notice. Didn't realize the kids weren't invited. My bad. Um, so when they got the RSVPs and noticed the kids were on there, they called us, but it was short notice, so couldn't really get childcare in that time. It was fine. We just didn't go. There's lots of weddings that I haven't gone to because they're out of state or whatever. If they're in state, I usually go. Sometimes I'll go to Wisconsin. Or I had something else that weekend. My niece got married on a weekend, the only weekend in the whole summer I had something else going on. But I mean, oh well. Still friends. Only Up Vibe says selfish. Why would anyone say that? Easy peasy. Sorry, tried to find a sitter, but they're all busy, so I'm bummed I'm not gonna miss it. Yeah, exactly. Golden Fury says exactly. Like you're not throwing a tantrum. You literally tried to make it work and couldn't. That's just life with little kids. No need for anyone to call it selfish when you're being realistic. Yeah. Some people don't have family that can take their kids. Some people don't have family at all. It's sad. On the other grandparents. Like they're these kids' dad's parents or dad even if they're not together. Maybe they're together. But if dad's parents are passed away or whatever, or he's not talking to them or whatever, you don't have that all the time. Or they live too far away. And Don't Work Here Lady was removed by the moderator. Well, that stinketh. Well, I guess we're not having that one today, guys. Best of Redditor updates. We always love this one, right? Last month, a friend began to cross a flooded river in his car with me in it. I jumped out, and now a letter from his lawyer asking me for damages? Oh, heck no. Um, Originally posted to legal advice. uh, this is December 2018, is the original post. Early in November, we went to pick up car parts after work that my friend, I'll call Aaron because his name is Aaron and I think he's being an idiot, had bought on eBay. We had to go through some back roads to get to the property and pick it up, and all was well. It had been raining for part of the day, but it really picked up when we were loading up the parts. We got to a causeway we'd passed only an hour before, but now it was covered with looked like half a meter of water. And we stopped, as you should. I'd been navigating and knew we could back up and take another much longer route, even though the highway was just a bit on the other side of the causeway. There was no way I'd go through the water as it looked because I'd been caught in a causeway 20 years ago in less water and had my car pushed off into the river, and I didn't want to risk it. That sounds terrifying. I didn't want to lose that car, but it's one of the scariest moments of my life. I said we had to turn back and could take a different route, 10 kilometers around, but it would take us via the bridge over the same river. Aaron decided to push on and started moving the car. I panicked and got straight out. It was far more water than I had to go through when I near lost my car and life before. I got out well before the water though, so I didn't let the water in the car, by the way. Aaron didn't even get halfway across and the water pushed his car off the side, rolled completely over and ended upright in the bank, 50 meters downstream. He was extremely lucky not to drown. I ran down to help him out. Immediately, he was aggressive and combative because he said, with my weight in the car, he'd have made it across. Okay, that is the stupidest thing I will see all day. And it's only, what, 11 o'clock in the morning? Immediately, he was aggressive and combative because he said, with my weight in the car, he'd have made it across. Admittedly, I'm like 130 kilograms. I don't know how much that is. I don't feel like doing the math either. even with the even with the converter, I don't feel like going it. But his car is 1,650 grams Commodore wagon with a couple hundred kilograms of eBay parts in the back. So it's not like I'd have much difference. Yeah, he probably lost his parts too, huh? We phoned for help, and the river went down within an hour and made the causeway by foot. We haven't spoken since, and he's avoided me in places we usually go. But on Friday, I received a letter from a lawyer. I know it's is real in our town, but it sounds like it was written by my friend. It's asking for 50K for the car and personal damages because I made the car unsafe by getting out. It was a 1997 Commodore, maybe worth 1,500 on a good day. Someone reassure me it's not up to me to sit in someone's car when they're doing something dumb, is it? No, and you might have drowned. And you had a good reason to get out and a good reason for being scared because you had PTSD from the last time that happened. What was he thinking? This is just dumb, sorry. Um Wolfie Salone says, so what I gather from this is your friend wants to cross a river washed road. Your friend wants to cross a river washed road. You say it's a bad idea. He says, nah, mate, I'm doing it. You get out at fear of your own safety. Friend drives in and car washes away. Your friend blames you because 130 kilograms could have saved it. Yeah, that sounds like a crock of crap. I don't think you're liable for crap. However, I would consult an attorney for legal advice pertaining to this situation. I don't even think you need to do that. Go in pro se. You don't need a lawyer for this. This is just ridiculous. No judge is going to take this seriously. You were in imminent danger and acted on it by ensuring your own safety. There is nothing wrong with that. However, do not post responses here and show them what people say to you. You could be liable for reasons. No. Or even be incriminated. Mm. OOP, yeah, that's what happened. I got carried away in a moment of salivating over internet justice. I won't say anything to him about this post. Deleted commenter says, your probably ex-friend is an idiot. Hasn't he seen the if it's flooded, forget it adverts the blood police put out every time there's a decent amount of rain? It's unlikely that an actual solicitor would have written such a letter of demand, given how patently ridiculous the claim is. But you want to double check that it's actually the case by calling them using a direct number from their website. That's a good idea. Yeah. Check with the lawyer that he claims he's using. If they did actually write the letter, just hang tight until you are actually served with a lawsuit. Get a solicitor of your own at that point. If they didn't write it and you're feeling petty, uttering false documents is an actual criminal offense, so you could dob him to the police. Good to know. Personally, I'd drop this idiot like a hot spud. Not only did they try and to risk your life, they're now trying to extort money from you because they played stupid games and won a stupid prize. Witty and Pithy answered, I used to plastic law in NSW, that's New South Wales. I'm no longer authorized to practice there. This cannot be relied on as legal advice, but general advice to inform you of your next steps. Hi, Lauren. You're missing like half of it. That's okay. I started out, I had my mic muted, so I have to, I had to start over. I'm gonna talk to you about this later anyway. Number one, observe whether the letter of demand states a due date and whether they provided you with a time to reply. If you do not comply with those dates, then the next step for Aaron is to follow statutory process for reissuing the letter of demand until eventually bring a claim to court for debt owing. I recommend you look to New South Wales statute on the letter and demand process. It details the time periods and process. Number two, do not contact the lawyer or speak to Aaron or write anything or say anything to them or other people around them. Do not try to write them about your version of events. If I was advising a client, I would instruct them to delete any Reddit post as well, as it is relevant evidence that can be used to cross examine any written evidence you wish to provide and may undermine your credibility as a witness. Why would it? That doesn't make sense. um, that doesn't make sense because contemporaneous notes like this are evidence, at least in the U.S. Maybe not where they're at, but at least in the U.S. it is. Given formal dispute, you may be a he said, she said situation. Your reliability as a witness is important. You should retain a lawyer promptly who will draft a response to the letter and demand and provide you with counsel. OOP, there's no due date or info about time to reply, just a statement that because of my actions, their client is out a total of $50,000 and I need to pay it. It's like they already found me guilty. There's nothing about court or how to pay them. It makes me think it's more fakey. It sounds like he just copied some letterhead. I won't contact Aaron about it or ask him to read over this thread. In the case I want to save myself money, I'll just send a copy to the lawyers involved and say, can you validate this was sent from you? Is that likely to be a risk, or should I even go through a lawyer that I pick? I recognize that may be going beyond what you're allowed to advise. I probably hit up a lawyer on my own this week. Update December 18th, December 11th, 2018. So this is 9 days later. 9 days later. I went to a lawyer my parents had used for a few years and they recommended. She took one look at the letter from my friend Aaron's lawyer and said she has concerns about it and she'll respond. She contacted his lawyer and my lawyer mailed me to tell Aaron's lawyer. She contacted his lawyer and my lawyer mailed me to tell me that Aaron's lawyer are not his lawyers at all, but to contact her if I heard any more, otherwise no need for action. Aaron had apparently faked the letter and admitted as much to me yesterday when he finally decided to talk to me. He wants me to retract my complaint to his lawyers about him using their letterhead. I hadn't complained to them myself, so I did the time-honored thing and told him to go pound sand, but it might have rhymed with go eat a bag of DICKs. Yeah, Aaron's pretty stupid if he thinks he's going to get $50,000 for a $1,500 car. It's insanity. And it's his own stupidity. And how did you cause that? You didn't cause that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I guess you slept in a lot, honey. I'm going to call you later. Anyway, I want to speak to you. Okay, our next one is from Retail Hell. Okay. Um, entitled, I think an actual demon came into the store yesterday. And I chose this for the title of this episode because it's Halloween and demons. It's flared customers suck. Yes, yes, they do. So last night I had this woman come up to my register. She wanted to load her Cash App and buy something. I can't remember what. And anyway, she handed me $45, two 20s and a 5, and said to pay for the stuff with that and then put what was left on her Cash App. I chose one of the 20s to pay for it and took out the extra cash and change, even though I was just going to put it right back in to make sure I counted correctly. Smart girl, I assume. Might be a boy, might be a guy. Ended up being a total of 39.30 left at 20, 3 5s, 4 1s, and a quarter, and a nickel. I confirmed with her that it would be 38.30 on the card since it takes $1, and she said okay, so I put that in. The reason I remember the exact bills and change was that no one ever loads change, so it stuck with me. She comes back an hour later during rush, and I see her talking to my ASM on the other register. I quickly realized she was pissed off and talking about me. Apparently, she claims she gave me 60, not 45. My ASM knows I never miscount my money, but she goes ahead and heads to the office to check the cameras, so this lady will go away. The entire time she's doing that, the bitch is sitting in front, cursing up a storm and calling me a variety of names, saying I can't count, threatening me, etc. I just continue checking people out and try to ignore her. What makes me laugh is that during all of this, she says she knows how this works because she used to be a cashier and says that I put it in the drawer and then when I'm over at the end of the night, I'll pocket it. I wanted to say, so you admit you used to regularly steal from your workplace, but I kept my mouth shut. Anyway, my ASM eventually came back and she literally could not find the bitch on cameras. Like the time her receipt said she was there, she didn't show up on them at all. That's kind of weird. Kind of like some like some sort of hell spawn. The lady left and I'm sure she will try again and talk to the store manager or corporate or whatever. Oh, and I was only a penny over. The fact that you were only a penny over shows that you did it and they would have you on camera when you um count your money out, count your drawer out. Oh, I used to hate counting drawers and a penny. It's really bad when you have a bad boss that wants you to account for every freaking penny. It's better when you just throw a penny in from the drawer. We used to keep pennies over under pennies um in our office drawer so that if we were over under we just throw a penny in or whatever we need. Okay, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about 10 in the morning. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the current day's live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is in the description. I got smart. Figured out how to do stuff. So if you just go down to the description below, the email is there, our Gmail account. Oh, yay. Expectations versus reality. I like this one. It's so fun. So my son wanted a skeleton head on his birthday cake, so he drew a little picture that we gave to the bakery. We told the bakery we wanted it to be a skeleton head, and this is what we received. Okay, let me get it up here. Can you hear me now? You shouldn't have. Okay, good. Okay, we're back. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I literally just clicked on and off the mic and it fixed it. So, but it shouldn't have. It wasn't on mute when I clicked off the cake. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, earlier I muted the mic before I started because I started the stream like 10 minutes early and forgot to unmute it. 'Cause I are not a smart person. All right, let's try this again. This is from True Off My Chest. I went to a comedy show and got called ugly and cried. It's really sad. I'm 25 female, and for my mom's 59th birthday, I took her to see one of her favorite comedians last night. That's a fun night out. She insisted on sitting in the front row since it's her birthday and she'd never done so. I told her repeatedly I didn't want to since I just want to enjoy the show and didn't want to risk being roasted. But I gave in and figured it couldn't be that bad. Though, since the comedy and the crowd were all around my mom's age, I knew he would say something to me. I stood out as probably the only person there under 40. Who was this comedian? Well, my worst fear ended up coming true. Not only did the comedian interact with me, but he said I must have been in a fire because I looked way older than my mom. Well, that's mean. You don't do that. This ruined the rest of the show for me, and I cried immediately afterwards. From where I was sitting, basically no one else but the comedian could see me, so the entire room erupted in laughter, and I wanted to disappear. The entirety of the way back home was my mom trying to console me and tell me it wasn't just an outlandish joke for shock value, because I look young for my age and I'm obviously very attractive. I struggle immensely with my self esteem and social anxiety. I'm in therapy for it. So it feels basically impossible not to take what he said to heart, especially when he made a point to call every other woman he interacted with beautiful. That moment felt like my nightmares of humiliation playing out in real life. This guy doesn't sound like a nice guy. Why did your mom like him? Why did your mom like this guy? He sounds like an ass. 8 Haunted Keyboard said, been there, street comedian, friends stopped to watch. I became the butt of multiple jokes because of my small chest. The jokes wouldn't stop. He had a loud speaker on a public street. Been years and I still think about it. I wish I had snapped, but I was too shy and humiliated. Accomplished Road said, this kind of people are not comedians, they're masked bullies. Yes. Yes. Someone else said this. I had an experience years ago that demonstrated this fact with the comic Judy Tenuta. I saw her live early in the 90s when she used to have a bit about her super fat roommate, Blozan. It was just a horrible bit that was super abusive to overweight people. I was personally very overweight at the time, and I never appreciated that particular joke, but I loved Judy's other comedy. Well, on the day we went to see her live, we were sitting near the stage when she was introduced, and she just happened to make eye contact with me, and the other fans were cheering her arrival. She went she went that entire show without mentioning Blozan once, even though it was a popular bit for her at the time. I felt then and still feel that she did this because she actually saw humanity in a fat person who happened to be her fan. Maybe that makes her a good person, or maybe she just learned something that day, but she looked differently and she looked me directly in the eyes, and I know she changed her behavior, at least that day. I Judy Tenuta always seemed like a good person to me. Even if she didn't do it, didn't stop that bit at other times, she knew when to not do that. She's smart enough to know when to not do that. And sometimes they just quit doing stuff because it's pointed out to them that it's not very nice. And when nice people have things pointed out to them that they're not being nice, that's a good thing because they change their behavior. Our next read is from Art slash in-laws, entitled "Feeling Completely Neglected Postpartum While My Husband Spends His Paternity Leave at His Mom's Hospital." Well, I gave birth to a baby girl September 6th, and this is about a month old, so probably later in the month, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't say exactly the date. I gave birth to a baby girl on September 6th. My husband was with me during the birth, and it felt amazing to have him there. The next day, he had to go back to work, which I understood. His job is demanding. He was supposed to get 10 days of paternity leave a few days later, and I was really looking forward to having him by my side. Then his mother, who recently had a knee transplant, fell and had a major injury that required another surgery. I completely understood her situation, and I'm fully supportive of him being with her. But now I'm home alone, dealing with postpartum recovery, sleepless nights, pain, and a newborn, mostly alone. My mom is helping, and I'm grateful, but I really wanted him. Whenever I try to tell him how I feel, he ends up fighting with me over the phone. He doesn't ask how I'm doing, only talks about the baby and his mother. When I bring up my feelings, he tells me I'll go through it, it's normal. He's literally on his paternity leave, sitting at the hospital, and I feel completely invisible and uncared for. I feel lost, exhausted, unloved, and deeply hurt. I spent my whole pregnancy alone, and now the postpartum feels just as lonely. I'm scared that his paternity leave will go to hospital duty, and then he'll go straight back to work. We've never stayed together for more than 3 months at a time since marriage. The isolation is really hitting me hard. I don't know how to make him understand that I need without causing fights. I just want someone to care for me emotionally while I recover. Has anyone felt this way postpartum? How did you cope when your partner isn't emotionally present? Well, if you've never been together more than 3 months at a time, probably shouldn't have brought a kid into the world. Probably shouldn't have married the guy. That's just insane. Um, I mean, your mom's there. He's taking care of his mom. Your mom's taking care of you. I don't know. This sounds selfish to me. Sorry. Sorry, unpopular opinion. This lady sounds a little selfish because his mom is in the hospital. When his mom is not in the hospital anymore, he can come home. Hopefully, she won't be in there for 10 days. I doubt she will. Sofa Queen says, go home with your mother, file for child support because you and the baby are not his priority. You're not always your spouse's priority. Sometimes things happen, and you have to recognize that you do have to take a back seat occasionally. What happens when your kid's in the hospital? Are you going to say you're not his priority then? I would be so glad if my mom had been with me postpartum. Really, you're going to get more out of the mom being there than him anyway. Trust me on this. Oh, next one is from entitled parents, entitled Possible Soccer Mom Leaves Note on All Senior Players' Cars. My daughter is on the high school soccer team in her last year before she graduates next year. She is one of three captains. Why you need three captains? Why isn't one enough? She's one of three captains and the only senior year captain with junior year and sophomore year captains. When my daughter was named senior captain, there was one girl on the team who was also for consideration but didn't get picked. The girl's mom was apparently not pleased that her daughter didn't get picked, so she told all the senior year girls to have a great year of soccer. Without warning, all the senior girls started getting notes put on the windshields of their cars saying to watch themselves, especially when scouts come to watch the team play. All the girls have given notes to the coach, who, upon investigating the handwriting, found matching handwriting in the handwriting of the mom who was not happy that her daughter wasn't picked to be the senior class captain of the team. She has the handwriting of all the moms who signed the permission slip to let their daughters play soccer. The police have been notified and even talked to the mom who denied it was her. She gave them a sample of her handwriting, and the police said to the school and coach to keep their eyes peeled during practices and games. I have a really bad feeling that the entitled soccer mom somehow changed her handwriting style to hide it's her because the notes are still happening and the security cameras in the parking lot are having trouble finding distinguishable ways of identifying a hooded person who is leaving the notes on the windshields, and the cameras aren't catching a getaway car. Myself and the other moms are starting to feel worried for our daughters. So, so far, the promises on the notes haven't been acted on in any way. I feel they will happen when we least expect them to happen. Yeah, right. But I wouldn't do that because that's silly. Important note: the notes are being left on the windshield during school hours. So all the girls on the team should be getting Teslas. Kidding, but getting cameras and putting them in their cars so we can catch this person. That's what I would do. I'd get me a camera and set it up in the car. What's wrong with Tony today? Did you get him catnip or something? Did you get him cat crack? Has he got the zoomies? Lauren's cat's misbehaving, apparently. Update 9/30/25. The principal emailed all parents saying that the police now have a suspect in custody as of 10 o'clock this morning. The hooded person was caught on security cameras walking in the parking lot, and undercover officers caught the person putting notes on the car. We'll try to have more updates as they happen. Yesterday how I said that how I said that I'd get a camera. Ziena, and this happened yesterday. How many times? Oh, yeah. Kitty cat daddy's gone, so she's getting all the attention instead of splitting it between the two of them. Um, Yesterday when I predicted like every comment, practically, Xenia says maybe get a motion activated dash cam for your daughter's car. Yes, it may drain her battery, but it would likely catch the note lever up close with better picture quality. Racer MD says if the car is driven regularly, highly likely that it's a student's car. The drain on the battery for a dash cam with parking mode is negligible. It's worth the investment even without the threat of an overzealous parent. Auto insurance for a teenage student is borderline oppressive, and having anything in your favor to dispel liability will be a lifesaver. She didn't actually put drain on, she accidentally put dragon. So Carmium says, "What happens when a battery is dragoned?" And Commissioner Caliphus Kane says it hoards gold. Oh. But yeah, I'm glad they got him. Oh, I wonder if she has any. There's not an update past the 30th on here. Let's find out if she has a lot. She posts a lot. Jeez, oh pizzas. This chick posts a lot. I wonder if it's a bot. I don't even see that one on her page. That's weird. Huh, that's really weird. She's posting like 3, 4 times a day. Who has time for that? This lady needs to join us. She's got too much time on her hands. She got too much time on her hands. She needs to join us here. Give her something to do. Oh, that's not what I thought. Well, that's what I thought. Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird. No update that I can find. Sorry. This is from Server Life. I shut down an abusive table and it's flared as a rant. It felt great. I went outside to offer them water and they barked an appetizer order at me. I went inside and put it in and checked back for a cocktail order. Come back in 5 minutes. At this point, my blood is boiling. Why? That's not that much. At this point, my blood is boiling, and I decided not to return till their apps are ready. Okay, you don't get a tick. Now I'm taking money off your tip. I drop their apps, and this man barks his drink order at me. Dirty martini. I just stared at him blankly. He looked confused and repeated himself, perhaps assuming I didn't hear him the first time. I smiled at him and says, "Can you say please and thank you and treat me like a human being if you expect service?" His partner says, "You don't know how that kind of day he's had. Like that's any reason to treat me like your punching bag." I told him I'm here to curate an experience for him, but I expect a baseline of respect and human decency. I've been abused by romantic partners and I'm not about to tolerate it at work. Then I told my boss I wasn't going back out there. They were transferred to the bar and tipped $5 on a $100 bill. People like that can go kick rocks. Yeah, I've been abused by people who are having a bad day. I got chocolate pie out of it. What'd you get? Nothing. You got $5 on a $100 bill. There's a reason for that. You should have went back in the 5 minutes when they asked you to. I mean, I don't have a problem with you saying something, but but could you please not bark orders at me? Thank you. Would have been sufficient and might have gotten the point across. Because a lot of times that does get the point across. Just say, stop treating me like this, and they'll back off. A lot of times they'll back off. Most of the time, actually. But yeah, I mean, if you decide, I don't know why your blood's boiling at like two things. They ordered an appetizer and asked you to come back in 5 minutes. I don't see the point where that's a bad thing. So I think you're overreacting. I think you overreacted. because of your past history. This is What Do I Do? And it's entitled, Honestly, I Just Feel Bad for the Guy. I should probably, you know what, I'm gonna do this first. So his captioned backstory: send him money because he claimed not to have food and asked for more money for bills, so I sent that. Yes, I know. I was gypped out of $35, but thankfully it was play money. Hopefully he gets the help he needs. And this is the let me know if you can't hear me after I go off of this. It wasn't on again. I don't know what's wrong with this thing today. It's really weird. Now it's saying that you can hear me, so okay. So this guy is recognizing that he has a problem and he is looks sounds like he's asking for help and he needs help. So um that's the first step. That's the first step. Is to recognize that you need help. He needs to be hooked up with AA or better yet sober. Um AA actually doesn't have the greatest track record of success with alcoholics, believe it or not. Even though that's the one everybody uses. Um but yeah, he needs to get a counselor. He needs to go into counseling. He might need inpatient to get off whatever's uh, driving him to drink. It's really sad. Ashley Oh Baby says, your generosity sparked enough in him to look at the situation so people judge instead of having compassion. It was really kind of you. Might give him the courage to ask for help with his alcoholism. Yeah. Yeah, I feel really bad for this guy. Don't give him any more money. Maybe send him Maybe get on Uber Eats and send him a meal. That might be good for him. That's what my dad always did when he saw people asking for money. He would take them and buy them a meal. That way he knew they weren't using it on drugs or drugs or drink. He would take them to the restaurant where he was going to go anyway and buy them lunch. Um this is from Am I Overreacting? AIO, my boyfriend flipped out that my 12-year-old lets me see him in the bath. And it's flared family slash in-laws. My 12-year-old son hasn't hit puberty like yet and is very childlike. I always give him privacy when he asks it. He gets dressed in his room, and neither me or his older sister go around with no scant clothes on. However, sometimes when he's in the bath, he will call me to the bathroom to talk about something. The other day, my boyfriend saw me go in to talk to him and really flipped out on me, saying it was nasty, weird, inappropriate, and basically treated me like I was doing something dirty and horrible. No, you won't. My argument has been that if my son's comfortable with me seeing him in the bath at this point in his development, it isn't an issue. And of course, I would never go into the bathroom uninvited if he was in there. My daughter was 11 when she stopped wanting me to come into the bathroom with her, and I respected that immediately. I have also once had a discreet wee in front of my son when I was absolutely bursting and he wouldn't get out of the bath. On this occasion, he had already asked me to come into the bathroom to talk to him. Nothing was showing. He turned his face to the wall. Obviously, I didn't do it for the fun of it. I thought my bladder was going to explode. My boyfriend says these are not healthy boundaries, and I need to teach my son it's wrong, even if he doesn't feel uncomfortable. And I'm setting unhealthful habits for later in life. I'm autistic, so sometimes I do struggle with boundaries, but on this occasion, I can understand why my boyfriend has a different opinion, and I don't think I did anything that horrible. Who is overreacting here? Have I been inappropriate without realizing? Throwaway account because it's done on the main, blah, blah, blah. I don't think anything's wrong with that. If the kid's comfortable with that, the kid's comfortable with that. Different families and even different societies have different rules about nudity. and none of them are necessarily wrong. Stars Are Aligned says this is actually healthy. You're respecting his boundaries, but also showing him that bodies are just that, bodies. They are not inherently sexual. You're not gawking at him or anything like that, just chatting. Or, like you said, sometimes you got to go now. And if he was okay with that, whatever. Once he asks you to stop coming in, of course, respect the boundary. But it sounds like you're already doing that. It's a solid parenting, in my opinion. Yeah, and as soon as he starts going through puberty, you aren't going to want to be in there anyway. Boys are nasty. Appearance anxious says, literally my thought. We got to stop going to dark places. It's literally the healthiest relationship between a parent and child I've ever seen. Someone dubbed TF replied, but doesn't this give him the idea that speaking to someone while naked is okay? Speaking to someone while naked is okay. You're weird. If someone asks him to get naked, will he be like, well, my mom doesn't make a big deal over it? No, because I'm sure he's had stranger danger stuff. Bodies aren't inherently sexual, but being naked is. What situation would you be in where you were naked in front of someone else? You either slept with them before or are about to. I guess some people are nudists, but the majority of people aren't. I think it's good to teach him not to be ashamed or embarrassed, but I think there should be a line. Random person on the internet. And he's a kid. And yeah, I've been around people without having sex with them, dude. Naked. Was naked in front of my husband this morning, and we did not have sex. We were getting dressed and ready for the day. Stars Are Aligned says, changing, right? He's going to have to do that at some point, maybe. Although they don't make you get dressed anymore at school. Like we used to have to take showers. It was always fun showering with everyone else. Stars Are Aligned says, I don't think you made this post in good faith, so I'm not really going to respond in good faith. You don't think people are naked around each other in non sexual ways? A lot of countries would have hot spring sauna, other health spa practices that are frequently have attendees to these places being fully nude around each other. Are they all effing? This is such a mostly conservative mindset to behave this way. It's not healthy to believe bodies are sexual because they're naked. No, they are meant to be automatically sensual. They aren't meant to be automatically sexualized. He's getting downvoted, so he's Dubsa answers that. This was in good faith. Okay, so I guess we just assume this 12-year-old is from a different country in a sauna, I guess. See, that's what makes people think you're not being in good faith because you make stupid snide comments. Even if he was, wouldn't you have a towel wrapped around you? No, they don't. Give some examples where two people would be naked in front of each other. So your response wasn't in good faith. It seemed to be to me you wanted to teach your kid to be naked in front of other people is okay. Then you do you. I wouldn't do that. Strip clubs. The doctor. Very weird response. We're talking about a child being naked around other people. I guess you support that. Bodies aren't inherently sexual, but being naked in front of somebody else usually is. Doesn't have to be. I would love for you right now to give examples where a child being naked around somebody else is all right. I mean, Tanky Forever says, I mean, I'm an American, and even as a prudish American, I don't see being naked with people as inherently sexual. Even as a teenager in the 90s, my mixed gender friends group would often swim naked together. Like if it's hot out and there happens to be a lake, you can swim naked or you can get your clothes soaking wet. I promise you that you'll be much happier if you choose to swim naked and you will be damp with drawers. Yeah, I used to skinny dip too. It was fun. And no one had sex. Why is that not going? He answered, I'm sure you won't be honest, but no one in that group had hooked up. Only the people that were hooked up before that. Give me another one example of being naked in someone is good. Let's all remember this OP is about a 12-year-old boy learning boundaries about his body. Yeah, from his mother. It's not your kid. Don't worry about it. Unless you have something actually harmful. Don't worry about it. Pinky Panda answered, "As a Nordic, this is a bit hard for me to grasp. There was a phase, which is fine. When I was like 16, I didn't want to use the sauna at the same time as my dad. But after I got older, it was okay again. We're just different about these things, I guess. But at 12, I still had my dad come scrub my back. And now, at over 40, I go to the common sauna with, I should be saying sauna, because I know how to pronounce that word. Now at 40, I go to the common sauna with strangers sometimes." There was a comment removed. I'm not going to get into that one. Um, yeah, other countries have different expectations about what is and is not appropriate around children. Um, that's okay. And families have different expectations. Some families, if you have all the sisters in a room, they'll all get naked together and change clothes. No one's having sex there. Some families, that's not acceptable or not, or even individually um, not done just because it's an individual thing. Some people have body issues and don't want to be seen naked by anyone, and that's okay. Um, but yeah, the doctor, the uh, the gym locker room, you're gonna be seen naked by somebody sometime. Oh no, consequences! I screwed up my daughter's Halloween for no reason. Why does she hate me? This is originally from Am I the A-hole? AITA for making my daughter return a Halloween costume. This happened in October, and my daughter is still cold. This is 3 years old, by the way. This happened in October, and my daughter is still acting cold and hardly speaking to me. My daughter, female 16, works at an after school job 5 days a week. Her high school had a Halloween costume contest for Halloween. Let me say that again. Her high school had a costume contest for Halloween. My daughter and her friend planned to go to a group costume to enter. She went with her friends after school to buy costumes. I picked her up. I picked her and her friends up from the store and they showed me their costumes. My daughter spent $80 on hers. I was pissed. That's a lot of money to spend on something you're going to wear for a few hours. Very irresponsible use of money. I told her as much in the car and told her it was ridiculous. I dropped her friends off and took her back to the store to return the costume and accessories. Oh, you're going to be in a world of hurt when prom comes, dude. Her friends found someone else to take her place in the group, and they won the contest and a $100 Visa gift card to split. My daughter came home from school on Halloween upset. She claimed she had to sit and watch while her friends had fun and she missed out on everything. I pointed out to her that after splitting the gift card, it would be way less than she spent on the costume. It was only for a few hours, but she didn't want to listen to reason. Halloween costumes sometimes are expensive, and this sounds like a really fun thing. Did you not give her a budget? Because that's bad on you. Was it her own money? That's her money to spend the way she sees fit. Now, a month later, she's still moody and mostly ignoring me. My ex-husband told me I made her miss out, and she worked so much she missed out on a lot of stuff with her friends, and I could have let her have this. But at the end of the day, I saved her $80. I'm just trying to teach my daughter how to be responsible with money. She could have gotten cheap costume, especially since she would only have worn it for a few hours. How do you know that? Like, I buy stuff I wear the next year, the year after that. You can and should reuse Halloween costumes. It's fine. Someone said, I remember this one. 3 years later, kid would be 19 now. I wonder how often she comes home from college. I mean, I wouldn't. Significant bet said, parent like this probably holds the fact that they pay for college tuition over the kid's head whenever think about not coming home for the holidays. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no. I would like to know more context on this. I'd like to know whose money it was. Did you give her $80 and not expect her to spend it? Was this her money that she could spend the way she wants? because you should not. Once your kid has a job, you do not dictate how they spend their money. That's their money. You can tax them and put some away for them if you want, but the money they have, it's not yours to make. How are they supposed to make? How are they supposed to learn to make their own decisions if you're always making decisions for them? Your kids should make all the decisions until you need to make a decision. That's how we raised our kids. They got all kinds of choices. And then when I needed to make a choice, you know, what do you want for lunch? Do you want peanut butter or do you want a salami sandwich? What do you want for dinner? Do you want what we're having or do you want a peanut butter sandwich? um, Although we did have a rule that you had to take at least one bite of everything before you got the peanut butter sandwich. Usually I tried to make sure everyone had something they would eat so they didn't get hungry and never made sandwiches for dinner. Sometimes we had cereal for dinner. That was fun. Um, but yeah, no. And you made her miss out on her friends thing. That's a bonding experience doing that. Those are more important than money. This kid's going to be terrible at money. Poor kid. Mildly infuriating. And all it is this picture. And the mic's probably gonna go out again. It's entitled Everyone Apologizing for Chatting with GPT. Okay, apparently the mic is being muted when I put up a picture. But you saw the picture. Everyone apologizing to Professor Carl and Professor Wade. Sincerely apologizing. What I did was wrong. Oh, thank you for reaching out to me. Oh my. That means they got in contact with them. That's pretty funny. Top comment is I put my essay on an AI detector. It said it was 80% AI. It's from my own words. I don't think they're that accurate. That's probably true too. Beefly says they're not. They exist solely to make professors feel like they have a handle on AI's crap storm that's landed on everybody's campus in the planet in the last 2 years. An attempt to scare students off using AI because it's not that easy to prove. It can be patently obvious when someone has used AI if they've gotten a cut and paste the very first thing it spits out. But the Venn diagram overlap of similarly between AI generated material and authentic man made content is getting increasingly bigger. Even back in the 80s, when I was in school, I got accused of cheating. I still got an A somehow, but I didn't get the A plus I deserved because we had to do a assignment. It was in a museum curator class. Um, we had to do an assignment describing an object. I had a blind roommate at the time, so I described her braille machine, her braille typewriter. I thought I did a really good job. I did so good. The professor asked me if I could copied it out of the encyclopedia. No, sir, I did not. I just read a lot of encyclopedias and I know how to language. Oh, you did give me an A. I deserved an A plus for making it sound like an encyclopedia, if you ask me. All right, and we're going to end on petty revenge. My contractor coworker quit 10 seconds notice after what our manager said about contractors. I work in okay. I worked an engineering contract for a while. They were pretty open-ended, like a lot were, with a vague but not binding length specified. Kind of like this contract is expected to be for 12 months, but is at the will of the employer and could end earlier or be extended further. But for those that do that kind of work, usually they stick to the vague timelines, and a lot of well-performing contractors get extended. Anyway, one day our team of 10, all contractors managed by one full-time employee, let 3 of the contractors go, and they had me do it. Technically, I was running that team, but I was a contractor too and not in charge of firing like that. So they were told, "This is your last day at 4 p.m." That's rude. Me and another contractor asked our sponsor, "Hey, how come we didn't give those guys any notice?" He said brightly, "That's why we hire contractors, so we can cut them loose at moment's notice whenever we want to." We didn't love that answer, so it was a weird thing to say in front of 2 other contractors. He basically told us we get no notice and be let go instantly someday. Anyway, long story short, that other contractor was very sharp guy. He started interviewing and got another job. He told me about it and I didn't tell anyone else. It started in a few weeks. I just kept right on working the contract job and I was right in the middle of a bunch of work that only he understood. At 5 p.m. on his last day, he stood up, grabbed his laptop mouse docking station, walked up to her sponsor's desk and he just said brightly, "Hey, thanks for everything. This is my last day." The guy said, "Wait, you're leaving?" And he just said, "Yeah, thanks," and walked out, and that was it. He also didn't hit send on any more official last day email at the same time, too. It was really funny. His work was half done. He didn't answer any calls or questions about it, and it took us like a month to figure it all out and get that project back on track. If the sponsor hadn't been so delighted about being able to fire contractors at us any second, that guy would definitely have been given 2 weeks' notice and worked to have a smooth handoff at his work. Yeah, that's a lot of when people hire contract labor, it's so that they can just mess with them, pay them less, mess with them, not give them benefits. Um, Really, we need better laws in the U.S. for laborers. We need much better laws. Long Schlong Silver says, "I work in construction and I've had coworkers fired with no notice. The boss owner said he was not required to give them any notice in our industry. I worked that company for a little more than 10 years. When the writing was on the wall for me to move on, I worked my shift, found the boss at the end, and told him I was done effectively, immediately. He practically begged me to stay and train a replacement for the machine I run daily. I told him that he had 10 years to figure out a backup since I no longer worked for him. It was none of my business. He asked why I didn't give any notice, and I regurgitated his line about no notice required in our industry. My favorite part of the conversation was when he asked if I could at least come in for a few complicated jobs that week, and I said it was akin to a breakup, sex, and no." Oh, yep, that's the way to do it. If they're not going to give you notice, you don't need to give them notice. I gave like a month's notice on my last job because they had problems getting people in for that job. Um, and they had lots of notice for the job before because they had real problems getting people to stay for those jobs. We had one guy came in to work outside job, gave him a shirt, came in, gave him a shirt. Um, he left for lunch. He literally took the shirt off and threw it out the window into the At least we got that shirt back. There were other people that we gave shirts to when we hired them, never showed up for work. Just got a shirt. We quit giving them shirts after that. And they had to be there at least 2 weeks before they got a shirt again. It was crazy. It's crazy. All right, well, that's all I have for today. Any last comments? No? Um, I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully, I'll get up on time. I got up at 5 this morning. No final comments. Okay. So, have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. Take care and tell all of your friends. I just said that. All right. Take care, biddies. Love you. Bye.